in today's session, we're gonna learn more about border layouts. To learn more about the border layouts, we have to first go into the concepts and little bit knowledge about J frames and J panels. So I'll start on from J frames, then go to J panels, and then we're gonna use our border layout inside J panel. So to get started, I'll first I have two classes. One is called border layout, and um, second one is called learning layouts. So in learning layouts, basically I just have a main function. So inside main functions, I'm gonna just create an object called B, and then I can write constructor here. So I'm right using this because a lot of things gonna happen inside my constructor, which I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna create a frame and then create a panel and then create some buttons and give location to those buttons by using our border layout class and use our border layout object too. So say I'll create a constructor now. As we know from our previous classes that constructor doesn't have any return type. Uh, so now I'll use the JFrame class to create our frame. So frame can be called something as a window. So I'm going to create that window first. So you can see that it doesn't accept JFrame. It's because we haven't imported the library. If we call this java.swing library, we can import our JFrame from this java.swing library. So I have a frame now. Now I'm going to create a panel. Panel is called P. And then I'm going to call JPanel constructor. So again, it shows some error because I have to import jpanel from java.swing library. So I did that. So then I have to add my panel to the frame. For that, so frame is my window on which the panel is getting added. So frame is the window on which this panel adds. So if I try to run it now, you'll see, not this guy. Nothing shows up. No panel, no frame. This is because by default panel is set to the frame is set to false. So I have to enable the visibility and put it as true. Now I should be able to see something. So I can see this guy. If I'm gonna bring I can bring this here, and now I can see, okay, at least I have started seeing something regarding the frames and the panels. Then also I can set the size of my panel, say 500 comma 500, and I can also set, it's called I think default operation for JFrame exit on close. So now I have given this size to my using this set size function, and I have given the size of 500 x and 500 y, and now JFrame also exits on close. So I have also put that. So Then say I create four buttons. So one is called button 1. So I can see some error because I have to import JButton from java.swing library. And then I'll create four buttons. 2, 3, 4. And I have and what my panel is used, so on my panels I can add multiple buttons. For doing that I have to write panel dot add b1. I can just copy paste this. Even I can just write it here for now. 4, 3, 2. So if I run it now, I start seeing some buttons, but I don't see any text inside a button or anything. But I do see four buttons, but I can't recognize which is button 1 and which is button 2. So to do that, I can write some text inside the button. So if I run it now, I can see four buttons. But if I increase or decrease the size of this window, the location of these button keeps on changing. The orientation also keeps on changing. I don't want that. I want to give them a specific location. So to do that, we start using the concept of layouts. So I'll create a object from this border layout class called b. So this comes from java.awt library. So I'll import that too. So here that gets imported. Uh, so to let my panel know that I have set the layout as a border layout, I have to use this function called set layout. It's very important because this set layout remains common for all different types of layouts. So one of those layouts we are discussing today is border layout. So I'm gonna set layout as this as border layout, and I'll use this border layout object here. I'll add that. So even now my button location is not fixed. To do that, I can say border layout dot north. Then I'll just copy paste south. So I can show you that I have options of east and west too. So I can use this east, and then I can also use west. So now I'm gonna run this again. Some error. So now I can see that okay, my butter position is now fixed. So if I have used this button 1 on the north side, it goes to north. Button 2 on south side goes to south. Button 3 on east side goes to east, and button 4 goes to west. I can also create another button called B5, and then I'm just copy paste this. Then I'll copy paste this guy. My button 5, if there is something called center. Then we can see our button 5 is set on center. So if I increase or decrease, the center increases or decreases, but button 3 and button 4, their size doesn't change. So how this is the way how border layouts operate. I hope this would be a very useful session. So the tips and tricks to learn about this is, so consider a frame as consider frame as a window, and then you can create think of a panel as a container to store some buttons or some sort of labels or text or whatever. So so frame we can consider as a window, panel as a container to store some say buttons, and then remember always that frame can have multiple panels. In this case we just created one frame and one panel. So to create multiple panels, I can just keep on using this jpanel class and panel object, like I can name it as p1, p2, p3 and p4, and then create on different panel set location for those panel and keep on adding things to them if I want. And so I have a frame. First, initially I have a panel on the top of the frame, and then I can start adding all these buttons. In today's class I use layout. It's just a way of giving a layout to something, layout called border layout. So I have used this border layout class, and create an object from that class, and then I have set the layout of my panel to this border, and gave it a parameter of this border layout object. So I created an object, set the layout of my panel as the border layout, and then I kept on adding all these buttons, and then to give location I have used border layout dot north, border layout dot south, border layout dot east, border layout west and center. So that has given me the location of all these buttons. Also, on increasing and decreasing the size, this middle The center space increases or decreases, but the east and west remains the same. Also, the button one occupies the full, if this is called the length, so the full length of this panel. I hope today's class would have been very useful regarding learning more about starting about frames and panels, and learning about the layout, a type of a layout called border layout. Hope I'll come up with more interesting sessions like these. Hope it would be a knowledgeable and good session for you. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye for now.